48 years, 21 teams in 8 different countries. Is it time for Roy to retire?
Evening, Tate.
Evening, Jack. You all right?
Yes. How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you. Very, very well. First time we've won in a few weeks, so...
Yes. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Back to reality.
Yeah, it's the first time we won this year.
Mm.
So, no, it was a nice weekend. Yourself?
Yeah, it was good. Nice and quiet for myself, but get up to much?
So I watched the Arsenal on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was Grace's mum's birthday on Saturday afternoon, so we went out for some dinner. Went out for a few drinks Saturday night, got a bit too drunk, and watched the Sunday games on my sofa on my duvet. With my duvet, I'm feeling very sorry for myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, feeling very sorry for yourself.
So some of my views on the Sunday games may have been... well, they were actually, until I rewatched the game back this afternoon. I was like,
I think I'm very similar.
But no, all good. So this week's episode is week B of the not international break, the winter break, sorry. And next week's the FA Cup, then we're back into the Premier League routine up until March, I think, when the international break is coming.
Mm-hmm.
This week's episode, we'll chat a big section on Crystal Palace and obviously their protests and what's going on there, our views on that situation. Moving on to the Sheffield United versus West Ham game and mainly the controversy of the last 15 minutes, effectively, basically. And then our usual Team of the Week, win or loser, predictions and all that good stuff. But, as always, let's start with the teaser. And Roy Hodgson is currently the oldest Premier League manager of all time. Each day he's still in the job, it is going up.
True.
But can you name the other top 10 oldest managers of all time?
In the Prem?
In the Premier League, in the Premier League.
Okay, all right. Give it a go.
Right. So, as mentioned, we'll start at the Emirates.
Yep.
And Arsenal cruised to a nice 5-0 win.
I don't know how you find your information, whatever, but I go on the Sky Sports report as one of them, and their sort of headline or their first sentence was Arsenal put their goal scoring problems behind them to thrash a dismal Palace, and I don't think you could sum it up much better. Like, it's one of those games like Arsenal brilliant. It looks like you were top of the league and absolutely flying, and no one can get near you. 5-0, scoring 5 goals at home. 5 different goals, 2 or 3 different goal scorers. But it also, on the other hand, you have a Crystal Palace side who are terrible on the day, but again, their problems are probably much larger than the situations. I just thought that sentence summed it up perfectly. But yeah, Arsenal come back from their little break in Dubai, and you couldn't have asked for much more.
Look refreshed. They had, I think, 3 different changes came in. Zinchenko was back in. Jesus was back in, and Trossard started. And the 5-0 probably does flatter Arsenal a little bit, because it was 3-0 in the 93rd minute.
Yeah, the 2 late goals were
were
poor,
pathetic, because
poor.
They brought on Tompkins and they brought on a young, I think it was a young centre midfielder who played him right back, and they were carbon copy of the goals. It was what that right hand side was.
Yeah, Martin just ran through.
Was so open, and it puts a nice added gloss on, considering the last 3 games we've barely been able to score.
Well, yeah, Arsenal's last 5 in the Prem, maybe 5 games, not sure. Basically, last 5 games scored 3, and obviously returned and scored 5 in 1. So, yeah, I think the break was time away, nice relaxation, and whatever.
I think that's what they needed. They did.
Yeah, refreshed for the second half of the season, I think.
And ready to go, hopefully. But it was the interesting part about this game was obviously 5-0 up, and at the end of the game, it was when Palace fans unveiled a large banner in the Emirates, and BT weren't really cutting to it at the time. And then obviously I think once they read that there was no swear words on it or anything, they showed it, and it read, "Wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions taking us backwards." And then with a good cut to Steve Parish and
I always don't know his name, but
I forget his name. Yeah,
he's always
Mark Bright.
Yes,
Mark Bright.
Together. Again, like my knowledge on Palace, if anyone's listening who's a Palace fan, please enlighten us. But yeah, I feel like I know more about West Ham situation, if that makes any sense. And I think the 2 clubs at the moment have lots of parallels in how their fans basically are feeling towards their managers. But yeah, I think we might have even said it at the time, but sort of last year, months ago, when Vieira was still in charge, we were all saying, well, outsiders looking in, well, why would you get rid of Vieira, blah blah. But at that time, I think they were a very similar situation what's happening now with Hodgson and their performances. But and then they've reverted back to Hodgson, and like the banner said, wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions, taking us backwards. And I think they had another banner or sign that said no shared vision, no structured plan. I think it's much deeper at Palace at the minute.
Yeah, like I said, I'm glad you brought up a point about it being much deeper, because in isolation, a loss at the Emirates is nothing too bad, but obviously the issues are far deeper than that. And it goes back to when Vieira was sacked, because like I said, looking in, people might have thought it was the wrong decision, but they're on a dreadful run of form with him. They weren't playing well. I don't have the exact number here, I don't think, but they hadn't won a game in I think it was nearly 10 under him, or one win in 10.
And I think it was very similar to what their current form is now. And at the time, people were saying, they've had a hard run of fixtures, and then they were going into on paper easier fixtures. But I think Vieira just not ready, not good enough to take a Premier League side. And I think a lot of fans, Crystal Palace fans that go and watch and are invested heavily into them, would repeat that, I think.
Yeah, and it was once Vieira was sacked, it was we don't want it. We've got Vieira now because we got rid of Hodgson because he was doing a good job, but let's try and move to the next level. And when they brought Roy back, fine, he kept them safe. But then the summer it was time to go again.
Yeah.
Like, if you think of Crystal Palace, you think of Wilfried Zaha, and he's their big talisman. Obviously, they lost him in the summer for nothing. Unfortunately for them, they had a few bids a few years back of numbers they could have taken, but they had to lose him for free. And what better time for them to rebuild now? They've got no other choice. But they signed Matthias Franca for about £15 million, Dean Henderson for 20, Jefferson Lerma on a free, and Rob Holding for a couple more. Rob Holding hasn't played once for him. And
you say, I didn't even think about the prices, but you say all that, and yes, some deals you don't have to spend lots of money to have a good side. But even if you look at Forest, even certain sides in and around, even the likes of Forest and Brentford and whoever in and around that mix of teams, that they're spending a lot more money than that. Forest are in trouble almost with what they're spending, but it's almost Palace have not moved with the times and struggling.
I mean, I don't know the financial situation of Palace, but they've been a Premier League team since 2013-14 season, I think. They are trying to fund a new stand, which obviously must take quite a substantial whack of that budget. And also, I think they're probably more concerned, maybe not the right word I'm looking for there, but cautious of the FFP now. They've seen Everton get whacked with 10. I think Everton have the quality to stay up this season. If Palace got whacked with 10, maybe not. And like I said, with Zaha and that, they haven't really, apart from Eze and Elise, and maybe Guehi, they're players that can get some returns back. But with what's his name? Elise signed a new deal, so they're hoping they can keep hold of them. And that's an issue they've also had on the pitch, whereas Elise and Eze have played 3 times together this season.
You said the other day that Eze and Elise have only played 3 games, but if you picked anyone that's not a Palace fan, you'd think of Eze and Elise straight away. But like you said, their main men have only played 3 games together, and that's 1 win in 12 in all competitions for Palace, and that's definitely a massive reason. And Hodgson has become basically increasingly annoyed with the youngsters, and he said again at the weekend, the young lads, too much to ask for them to come on and deal with a rampant Arsenal. And he said, obviously, it was a bit of in the news about it a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned again about the younger players are not good enough and all the rest of it. And I think a lot of Palace fans, again, they don't think the youngsters are the answer. They're not brilliant, but they don't want to see and hear their manager just absolutely writing them off and that negative talk throughout the media. But it's strange because I think, but again, Hodgson's not going to come out and go, actually, no, I'm not sack this off. I don't fancy it. But he's still come out and defiant, and he says the players are still committed, and he's not totally waving the white flag. But I just think the fans, very again similar to West Ham, they want a change. They want their club, their owners, to maybe show a bit of ambition and make that brave decision. But again, I mean, we talk about it as we go on, but you've seen in the past how that sometimes goes horribly wrong.
And a frustration which is, I think, epitomises Crystal Palace is that great thing we shared on our story a few weeks back, and it was Nathaniel Klein was a a product of the Palace Academy, and coming through the academy, I think, don't quote me on these years, but maybe like 2009, 2008. Played there for 3 or 4 years before getting a good move off to, I can't remember, was it Liverpool at the time, was it? I don't know. Southampton, yeah, I think, and then Liverpool. So they replaced Nathaniel Klein with Joe Ward. And Joe Ward was there for 6-7 years. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka came in, took his place for a year. He went to Man United for £50 million, and they replaced him back with Joe Ward. Joe Ward got his place back. And then 2 years ago, they signed Nathaniel Klein back. So they've rotated 3 fullbacks for the last, 16 years? 16, 17 years, I think it was. They've had Nathaniel Klein, Joe Ward, and Wan-Bissaka for one season out of them, 16, 17 years. And it's just, give us something different. They lined up against Arsenal at the Emirates with Nathaniel Klein. They need something.
Yeah, they need.
But he's a solid player that can do a job. But it's like they want more than. I do get it.
Yeah, no, I know. Talk about it more about West Ham, but I do actually understand what they're trying to say, because they don't want the world. They don't want, obviously, yes, deep down they want to win the league, but they understand the situation. They basically want to go and watch their side and not watch Roy Hodgson stick 10 men behind the ball, David Moyes stick 10 men behind the ball, and when West Ham have got players like Paqueta, Palace have Eze, they're not fit all the time, but Elise, Eze, and over the years Zaha, but they want their sides to show that passion, and it sounds a bit cliche and the basics, but effort and passion and commitment to the cause, basically, and they feel like they're capable of more than just, we'll just turn up and we'll make up the numbers, and sorry, I went to Arsenal, got smashed, don't worry about it, we're on to next week. And yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I'll explain more of how I feel when we talk about West Ham. But on Palace, for example, 2015, about their manager choices. 2015 had Pardew removed after a year. Allardyce gone within the year after Pardew. Then they went for that sort of 180. Let's try a little bit different. Frank de Boer. Everyone knows what a disaster that was.
Was it 6 games, 7 games?
5 games in the Premier League, record. Obviously least amount. And then that's when they first went back to Hodgson, came in that classic stability, experience, all those good words. And again, they thought, right, Hodgson stabilised us slightly. Let's try that little 180. Vieira started off well, got done. Was it semi-finals, FA Cup?
Something
maybe?
like that, yeah.
Done well in the FA Cup, solid in the league, absolutely fine. That's probably what they thought they liked or wanted. And then it went downhill with Vieira, and it was just poor again. And then the owners have gone, right, back to Hodgson. He'll keep us as we are, and he done that last season. But then, it's turned around again, and I think they've ultimately just had enough of it all. Yeah,
and those 2 FA Cup runs are quite a big thing for Palace. Sorry, I remember the one with the Pardew got them to the final, didn't they? And they lost just, and it was an extra time. Lingard scored. But a point I wanted to make, which for football fans that of Crystal Palace, that sort of ilk of team, they want something to try, hang your hat on or hang your coat, whatever the saying is. And this is a perfect example of why they're fed up. Again, they've had a 40-game season. They played 38 games in the league. They will do. They lost the first round or the third round of the Carling Cup away at United, 3-0, drab. Then went there on Sunday and won. We want a cup run. Come on. And okay, they played Everton and they played them twice, so they played 41 games. But you know what I'm saying. They knocked out of the first round of both domestic cups already in the first way of trying, and right, we're going to finish 14th again. Come on, there's more, and that's what that banner and the frustration was about. Because Everton, they could have beat Everton in the cup at home. You never know. That's a winnable tie. It's not okay. It's another Premier League team, and they didn't get Harrogate Town or whoever at home. But Everton, they could beat Everton at home. And I get the frustration there, and I think they're booing Hodgson on, I think it was Wednesday night when they played against Everton away, and he took Eze off he wasn't fully fit, and they're already 1-0 down, and it's like, but we've travelled all the way to.
And they take him off for the idea of Saturday, Sunday against Arsenal, and they turn up and play that way, perform how they do, and get smashed 5-0. It must be infuriating to witness.
I mean, Eze looked good on Saturday, and you can quite clearly tell when he's there and Elise plays. I remember they played Chelsea away not too long ago, and they both looked good. Eze was very lively at times, and I think Elise actually scored. And you just think if you could add a few more players. I mean, we've joked about it on the podcast about if they signed Nketiah 2 years ago, or if they signed Reece Nelson. These players are... are quite available to be
Yeah.
around.
That probably want to eventually at some point want to play regular football, and that's they could make a Palace side a lot better, and they'd play all the time and probably be loved by that team and the support. But
because I think as a back four, and that's also why Rob Holding hasn't played a minute of Premier League football this year, because the two centre halves in Joachim Anderson and Gay, I know mugs. They're not bad.
They're always
not bad
linked
players.
with higher clubs, better teams.
Dean Henderson's obviously come in. I think he's a pretty decent goalkeeper in terms of Premier League standard. Tyreek Mitchell, I haven't really watched him too much, but he always seems to do an okay job.
But again,
I don't think he's Wan-Bissaka, sort of.
But when he was coming through and into the team and all that, he was a young English left back. Everyone was a bit of hype around him,
but someone like Will Hughes, for example, I just think he's a Watford player, and Watford are always getting relegated with Will Hughes. So what are you getting there? You think they signed him on a free, Vieira got him on a free or whatever, or you're not getting anywhere with Will, unfortunately. And the one you always bring up, your mate Jordan Ayew, Mateta up front.
I was literally about to say that too.
Who's the other one? Usain Edouard.
Yeah,
I don't think he's that bad, but they're them players. They're just not getting anywhere.
Edouard might score 10 goals in a season. Who knows? But yeah, Mateta, Ayew,
Jeffrey Schlupp.
Ayew hasn't scored in about 5 years or something. So that's when they got.
But they're the players that Roy always goes back to because he knows they can do a job just about. And the stat I really like, and I think it was Steve Parish who actually came out in an interview maybe a year ago and said why he really likes Roy, because he goes, without being hot, he goes, I can give Roy quite limited funds, and I know it's going to get me.
I've got
and
Roy Hodgson.
You got his stats there.
I've more about his seasons. And
I've got the game basically, and it's 197 games, 65 wins, 48 draws, 84 defeats, which is pretty much bang on one win every 3 games.
And this point sort of his supports what I'm hopefully going to get to about West Ham, and Moyes, but in a similar situation. Hodgson, 15 seasons in the Prem from 97, 98 season until now. Obviously, he was in and out, been in Europe and whatever else, but over 400 games in the Prem, has been relegated twice. Once with Blackburn in 99, but only in charge for 14 games. And then he was relegated. Who's in charge of? Might have been West Brom or something.
Watford, he was relegated to Watford.
Watford, of course he was, yeah.
Disastrous spell, that, wasn't it?
But yeah, out of 15 seasons in the Prem, twice relegated. Like I said, once with Blackburn, 14 games. I'm not sure if he was that was the first 14 or last 14, but the owners, Steve Parish, for example, they, like I said, that word earlier, stability, experience, they're organised. Like you said, you know what you're going to get from them. Don't get me wrong, I'm probably one of them, but to the fan, you think, right, just go out, we've got to be more ambitious, we need this, we need that, we need to spend money on this player, that player, get this manager and do this, do that. But the owners and the board who make the tough decisions and are at the very, very top, and they oversee everything, when it comes down to it, they want, essentially these sort of clubs want to be in the Prem. They know the benefits financially, they know the risk of going the other way, likes of Derby, Portsmouth, whoever else you can name. And yeah, that's why Hodgson, years gone by, Pulis, Warnock, Allardyce, even Mark Hughes for a little spell, David Moyes now, those names, the owners go, right, get us in, get that bloke in, and they'll do a job and they'll keep us in the league. That sounds negative and that's horrible and you don't want to hear that as supporters, but I think that's ultimately what happens, what it comes down to.
And looking at Palace now, they're on a bad run of form and they are slipping towards relegation zone. But also, I think, like we've mentioned before, this season is probably the first time, I think, in years, or ever since I can remember off the top of my head, that most teams, I think, in and around that area, are pretty confident they're not going down because of the three newly promoted teams. But at the moment, they're 14th, 5 points above the drop, but 18th place, Luton do have a game in hand. And quite interesting, I don't know if you watched on TV Saturday afternoon, a certain Graham Potter was in the stands about 5-6 rows behind the owners at Palace. Anything in that for you?
I don't think so. I think
he'd be a good coup for them, though.
I think that's the ideal manager. I think that's probably their top of the list, but like their sort of dream choice. But I think purely on the Brighton links, I think that would be quite. Even you think Palace, Brighton, but I think that would be quite outrageous. But yeah, I was going to note and say, but do they look at lower leagues? Do they look at Kieran McKenna, who's doing very well and done very well for Ipswich?
Well, this is what I was having a conversation with Dad on Saturday night. and he said McKenna wouldn't take the job because he doesn't think.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Yeah, but that's what I think they should do.
Yeah.
Or do they go as a safe pair of hands, Steve Cooper, who that they've flirted around with before?
Because and that's the name that keeps coming. I literally got. Yeah, do they look at lower leagues? Kieran McKenna. Do they look at Steve Cooper? Obviously at Forest, brought them up. He's had quote unquote experience at the England level, international level with the youth team. So he's clearly a high level coach and understands the game. He seems to at Forest he had the fan support, so he might be a different character to get the Palace crowd behind him and support their side. But I think that's the list would be very similar to West Ham if they were to change and go for something different. But I think that's what ultimately if you looked at two fan bases, that is the sort of character they want.
In the summer, obviously we're going back now. We're talking with hindsight. In the summer, would you think a Brendan Rodgers would have been a good move before he went to Celtic?
For West Ham, I think.
No, for Palace.
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, I think so. I think he would have been perfect for any of those sides in that just above relegation to mid. He probably thinks he's above that. That's probably why he went to a club like Celtic and he's gone that way. But I think that would have been perfect. And it might have ended sour like it normally does with him. But I think that sort of Brendan Rodgers, that would have been ideal for them.
And another frustration is the transfer window has been open for 22 days now, and the club still haven't brought anyone in. And you're frustrated because you want someone. And I don't get wrong. Like we touched on earlier, they have been unfortunate of injuries. Like Michael Elise was out for nearly 6 months with his hamstring injury, and he did return for 9 games, scored 5 goals in the games, including that great goal against Luton. But they lost that game in the end, didn't they? And he has since then got injured again, another hamstring injury. And you are frustrated because you did such a good job in convincing him to stay because by all the looks of it, he looks like he was going to Chelsea. Yeah,
and then even in the summer, I think you.
And then he signed a new deal, and then they signed Cold Palmer instead. And look, that's the way some transfers work. And like you said, I do think he'll be going in the summer.
Yeah.
Eze, I don't know. He's a little bit older. English going to be more expensive. You don't know, but you just think you go back to that. You go back to the banner. Where's the ambition? Where's the drive? You want to do something collectively again, and it's where do you go? But it's a tough one, and I don't. Like we said, we don't know a Palace like the back of our own hands, and we can only look in from the outside and think.
I just think it's heavily to do with the risk of.
Risk versus reward.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you risk spending a bit like a Fulham did? Do you remember when Fulham went and spent like 150 million and they got relegated that year? That could
it could start a terrible spiral for a club like Palace. If that was to happen, spend lots of money, then the likes of Elise, Eze, they all move on. Even Agay moves on, Anderson moves on. Then they're in the Championship, probably just second manager, looking for something different. And who knows? Again, saying that, on the other hand, they might need a massive reset, and maybe not relegation is probably not what they want. But that they might need that big reset and start again.
Yeah, I just think where they should be safe. They should be safe.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
It's to start blooding in some of these youngsters. Like we said, that guy was hung up to dry. I can't remember the name of the bloke that came on and played fullback. It was hung up to dry, out of position. There must be a Palace Academy striker somewhere that can do a job as well as Mateta, Ayew, and Edouard can do. There must be someone who can do a job. Just give him a run of games. Give him 5-6 games. I don't know. It's just.
And maybe that's what the fans see, that if they were to pick someone else, basically, and not have Hodgson, who's again that word, but experienced, and he can organise and set up a team with. He wants experienced players, middle-aged professionals that have been there and done it.
And the link there was. Now I think about it, there was a striker link on loan in this January window. Danny Ings. Yeah, like that's just typical.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's that Danny Ings, that name that has been.
But he's been rubbish for a year. He's been rubbish for 12 months,
awful.
And it's like he had a pedigree. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still a fantastic footballer, and he had a good career in that. But now his knees probably have finally caught up with him. West Ham fans don't particularly rate him or want him. Why are you then going to sign him from? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, aren't you? This sort of thing, and they don't need him.
Yeah, and they just go round and round in circles.
It needs to be a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? I think the thought process, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think they had the right idea, or the owners had the good intentions with Vieira, but it went a bit wrong, and the performance
Squeaky bum time, wasn't it? And
they panicked.
didn't hold their nerve.
They did panic. Yeah, exactly that. But I think they want to. I don't think the fans want the board gone and we need to change owners, all this. No. They want to change a manager with a distinct sort of purpose and structured plan, and we're going to do this, and this. It might take us 2 seasons, 2 years, but if I can get this sort of personnel in and try this, and we'll play this way, then I think it'll be a much more positive place.
And before we move on, there's a nice little segue actually. I'll be sort of Palace and Roy. He's always going to get you a win in a few games. Next game up, home to Sheffield United.
Perfect.
30th of January, so they've got 8 days rest. Home to Sheffield United. You'd think 3 points, a couple of goals. If they lose that, then I think he could be gone. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think so.
But if they win that, then they'll just that's 3 points above another relegation rival, and the wheels start to turn a bit more, don't they? Right, and on that, should we move down to up to Sheffield United?
Yeah, move across to Sheffield United West Ham game.
So, like I touched on earlier, I did watch this game extremely hungover, and I was just I didn't really pay much attention.
It can't be good for your hangover.
I have rewatched it and have a different view on the game.
Yeah.
Just to run through the game as a whole quickly, and then we'll obviously dive into the main talking points. Maxwell Cornier, blast from the past.
31 games it took him to score.
He
that
scored
was his first goal, I think.
Nice goal.
Yeah.
And then Brenton Diaz, who was making his first Premier League appearance for Sheffield United, scored just on the stroke of half time before Danny Ings was brought down with 10 minutes to go for a penalty which James Ward-Prowse put away. Decided against his golf swing celebration.
Yeah, he
went to start and then stopped. I didn't really get what he was doing there.
Yeah, you got to the backswing. I thought, no.
And then the drama really started
That's when
in the additional time. There was only 6 minutes added on, but they played 13. Ryan Brewster, tackle, red card. First a yellow, then obviously went to VAR, red card. Vladimir Kufau was booked.
What was that about?
He was booked about protesting.
What was that? I almost not felt sorry. I was like, what has he just been sent off for?
And then he got sent off 2 minutes later for a trip. Second yellow, red card. Before Ollie McBurney was judged to have been fouled by Alfonso Areola. Penalty given, a load of injury time added on because because Alfonso Areola was he had a split lip and had to come off. And what annoyed me when BT were doing this, and they said, Fabianski's coming on, surely they should have done some homework. And Fabianski has saved more penalties in the Premier League. They should have built that. They could have built that up. And I don't think he probably was particularly injured. They wanted it because of Fabianski. It's a bit more pressure, isn't it?
And that was almost like a last kick of the game thing. It's like, right, Areola sort of half and half injured. Might as well just do it because, like exactly you said, the record Fabianski has, but.
He went the right way as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was never a penalty, that foul, surely not.
Well, this is my point. Watched it yesterday, and I was like, it's just a stonewall penalty. Because I sort of watching out the corner of my arm, I was like, I'm finally glad. But I'm finally glad that we've seen it with what's his name, Onana come out and clatter.
Yeah.
And I was just of the opinion it was a penalty because I didn't really look at it. And watching it back today. My God.
It's just never.
Where's the foul?
Yeah,
McBurney's the one that...
He does both, like he elbows the goalie.
It's probably a 60-40 foul to Areola. Just play on. I think it's just that you both come out and miss the ball.
Yeah, the game was done. It sounds stupid. It shouldn't be that way, but the game was done. Like it was the...
we were sort of winding up Nick in the group chat, weren't we? Saying, Moyes, what are you talking about Moyes out? Another 3 points.
Yeah, 2 points it was done,
You're 2 points behind Spurs, like 6 above United, and all this stuff. And it just came out.
And suddenly...
But it was the 2 red cards that kicked it into life, wasn't it?
It was,
So Ryan Brewster, to start from the beginning, Brewster, I think that is a horrific tackle.
Yeah, similar to you, Tate, but Sunday I was watching it and there was other things going on. I wasn't necessarily paying full attention. But when you see the highlights back, it's a shock.
And sorry, before West Ham fans jump at me, we also forgot the game didn't finish after the McBurney thing.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get on to that. I just read I did forget about that.
Yeah.
Apologies. But no, straight away, and I thought it has to be a red.
Yeah.
And the thing that you always get annoyed about is there's a linesman 10 yards away, if
It's
that,
underneath him,
staring at it.
and they might be talking in their earpiece, and he might be getting told like delay, or he might be telling the ref what he's seen. But they need to make decisions now. They're referees. They're there to make decisions. And again, neither of them have really done anything about it. The refs give a yellow because he knew VAR. He can check back and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's a red card.
Oh, it's a bad tackle. He's late. He's frustrated. It's one of them stupid young striker tackles that. And he knew straight away. He literally ran off the pitch as soon as he'd been sent off. And he knew if it ended 2-1, Chris Wilder was going to roll him up. Because it was, that's just so stupid. 3 games he's going to miss.
Yeah.
So, and he's one of their more important players. And it's just, what have you done that for, you idiot?
Yeah.
So, I thought, that was the game even more done. They're 2-1 up, down to 10 men. It was in the plus third minute of the 6. So there wasn't much long left. And then Kufau had got booked for...
I think his first one was like...
protesting.
Yeah,
he was basically saying, how the hell have you not sent him off, apparently.
But, yeah, I mean, again, he might have said more or worse, but bloody hell, yellow card for that is... I don't know. If that's a yellow card and then the tackle, how they're not equal. The tackle he done is not the same as what... what you were saying is, you know what I mean? That's not equal. The yellow cards, they don't...
That's such a valid point, and it's... Okay, they both got sent off in the end, so they're both... I know one gets a 3-match ban, one gets a 1-match ban. You said initially that tackle was judged the same as whatever... Unless he's called his mother and daughter and all that's under the sun, then fair enough.
Yeah.
But if he's just a couple of swear words and be like, ref, what the fuck?
Because rightly so, ref, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
But how can you judge them 2 things together? Yeah. And he's probably thought, it's a yellow card, I'll think about it later.
Yeah, so true.
And the winger skipped past him and he's tripped him. And it's one of those ones you look at it and you think, he could be, and the refs. What he's done. Whatever he said is, you obviously rolled the ref up, and the ref thought, "No, I'm sending you off."
Yeah. It's there,
and it's a point. He's made a point of, don't talk back to me because you will be sent off for these stupid yellows.
Yeah, and that foul he done, that's a classic foul in sort of the 70th minute. Kufau's probably had a little tussle with the winger the whole game, and at that point he probably gets a booking for that tackle, but. Yeah, it was all part of this last sort of 10, 15 minutes. It was chaos.
Absolute chaos. And then, like we said, this was in the plus 7th minute of injury time. It's still delayed because there was like a 3-minute delay for the red card. So it was all adding this stuff up. And then a ball from the right-back position that swung into the box. McBurney appeared to be from the original camera to be clattered. It looked like it, and I was like, that just has to be a penalty from the original angle. Refs blown the whistle, pointing to the spot, penalty. Delirium's gone, like they all know. Moyes has lost it. But there wasn't many complaints, really, I don't think, from the West Ham players. I don't think too much. But I think it looked probably, in real time.
Yeah, maybe.
And we look at VAR and you think, oh, hang on a minute. How much contact actually is there?
Yeah, it's not a foul. Again, you talk about the season as a whole, and the decisions and the fouls have not been given. Even the Sanchez one against, was it Liverpool, I think, maybe, when Sanchez or Arsenal. No, Arsenal, of course it was, yeah. Sanchez come flying out and just clattered whoever it was. That wasn't even looked at. And I mean, it's just not. It's not a foul.
I know we what's the word I'm looking for? We give the ref watch on Sky a bit of stick, but this is how it was described on Ref Watch on Sky. So I got the instant that they said, obviously appeared that Alfonso Areola is deemed to have fouled Ollie McBurney. Dermot Gallagher. He goes, and this is quotations. My first reaction was penalty. We've seen a keeper come out and not get the ball, which Areola doesn't, and you look at it and you think, and you have to look at it, and if McBurney catches him with his arm, is it a free kick to the goalkeeper? Does McBurney challenge him fairly? Maybe not. And he goes, basically, VAR has to be convinced that the referee has had a shocker there. And he goes, I think it's very harsh on the goalkeeper. And he goes, but there's nothing VAR can do because he's made some sort of contact to him. But it's just...
What is that? That's just... it's rubbish. I don't watch anymore. I can't. But, yeah. They just... Every week, they're just doing something different. They're saying something different to try and fit what the decisions they've made.
But again, what makes me laugh is that Dermot, I'm going to cough. I need a drink, so I can't say his name. Dermot has already, in what is under 12, probably just over 12 hours since that game has got the audio, listened to it, and he has understood the situation. we have to wait till once a month when Howard Webb and Michael Owen all have a little snuggle on Sky and have a pre-recorded show that they can edit perfectly, and Michael Owen can just nod and agree like a little lapdog, and it's nonsense. Like that whole show now has lost credibility because it's just there's no back and forth. It's just okay, Howard. He
just agrees with me.
Okay, Howard. It's just rubbish. There's you might as well not release the audio because if anything, it makes it more influent when you actually hear them and it sounds like, and it's just absolute chaos going on in that room. And then obviously Olympic Burnley stepped up and slotted the penalty away past Fabianski to make it 2-2. And then everyone surely is thinking, right, that is game over. Right, we're in the 13th minute. We're in the 103rd minute. Yeah. But no, there was more drama, and the balls get swung in. Joe Burrow just wrestled to the floor. And the ref blows his whistle, and we're like, no, how is that? And another penalty.
He gave it the other way.
And he gave it for handball.
Yeah. I mean, as a if whoever's watching West Ham fans the away end, they are just unbelievable. And again, unbelievable. I'm going to take the quotations from Dermot. He's obviously explained the situation, and he goes, I think it's a penalty, and I thought it when I first saw it. The clue for me is the defender is looking away from the ball, and the ball comes over his head, and he drags Bowen down. But the referee has given a handball against Bowen, with his argument being that he thinks Bowen has got hold of the defender first, and that's why he has his arm in that position. VAR thought it was a handball, and that's their judgment. Nothing can be done. It's just terrible. Like Dermot Gallagher's right with what he first said. Is the defender was nowhere, not even interested in the ball, just totally lost and got himself all in the muddle and just basically fell through Bowen, tackled him, whatever, dragged him down. It's again, you give the goalie, the one of the goalie against the goalkeeper, against West Ham's goalie, that has to be a foul.
Did you see the defender come out on Twitter and be like, it's been edited footage?
I'm not going to pronounce his name, but he tweeted that it's all biased in the studio and edited footage and whatever. But no, I just couldn't believe it. The game was not a terrible game, but it was okay, and it like Sheffield United were competing and West Ham were playing pretty poorly, but like we said, that last 10-15 minutes, it just
pure Premier League like bedlam.
It just went absolutely crazy for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and unfortunately they were on the wrong end of pretty much all the decisions. You had obviously the double yellow, which was extremely harsh. The yellow card that it was eventually a red, but got that one wrong. The penalty, I don't think how you can watch that in the cold light of day and think. I always try and be as adjective as possible and try and put my Arsenal hat on and be like, if that's given against me,
fuming.
What am I feeling like? Yeah. If Raya comes out and misses the ball, granted, but come on, like Burnley makes just as much impact on Areola.
It's not because Areola's been cut in the mouth. That's why it's a foul. But McBurney's done very similar contact towards the goalie that he received as well, and it's just a terrible bit of refereeing again.
Did you want to make some comments and some opinion on David Moyes?
Yeah, we talk more. Yeah, similar to what we just sort of done with Palace, but Moyes come out after the performance, said that was maybe his worst. He said it was a bit of a throwback, long throw-ins, lots of free kicks. We never passed it well, and I think a lot of West Ham fans were very, very unhappy with how they performed. But I'm going to say this and then say how I feel. This probably a lot of West Ham fans will get the ump, but you're sixth. You're 5 points behind Spurs who are fifth. Unbeaten in 5 games. You're missing your best players who dramatically improved their side. You had Bowen, who was named in the team, that was a bit of a bonus. But again, I feel like it's very similar to the Palace scenario. I think the fans, I can't speak for all the West Ham fans, but I feel like I know a bit more because of our friends and where we are in the world. But I just think ultimately they've had enough. They've had enough of Moyes. And like I said about Hodgson, but the two managers in question, the fans are angry, and I think they're frustrated for very, very similar situations and reasons. And like I said, Moyes, similar to Hodgson, Moyes, 680 games in the Prem, correlates to about 19-20 seasons in the Prem, has been relegated once with Sunderland in 16-17. So again, similar to the Hodgson scenario, but the owners were right. We need stability, we need experience, so we need to just be in the league, which sounds very negative, but they've had a brilliant time and with Moyes, and that last season was incredible for them. They're irrelevant of the league performance and what they've done. They obviously won the Conference League, and that was a big moment for them. But I think they want that passion, that effort, the commitment.
I mean, I think I read yesterday. I might be wrong, so please do correct me if I'm wrong. If they had won that yesterday, they would have had more wins than they had at the whole of last season already.
I think so, yeah, because last season was awful.
Yeah,
it was awful. I think they won 10 so far. So yeah,
and I think Nick came on the podcast and he said he'd like Graham Potter. I think was the name he used, and yeah, that would be fun and would be more ambition probably than David Moyes, and it's you have to look at it from the owner's perspective, and you're going to have to take the risk and reward, and potentially, obviously, Potter's out of a job, so now that's more likely. But those managers are normally at a club that is pretty expensive. Like Chelsea paid £12 million for Graham Potter.
Yeah, and now Potter, whatever job he takes, he's good. Not maybe he won't get 12 million, but he's going to be a hell of a lot more than probably what David Moyes or
you think so.
Hodgson's on at Palace.
And you think does someone like Graham Potter hold out for 6 months and get the England job? Arguably, it's all up in the air really. And
I think West Ham,
think at the moment they have to give him the season because he hasn't done anything to be sacked. They're sixth, aren't they? You said
sixth at the moment. I think.
Although again, going back to the Palace and losing to Bristol City in the week, it's such a kick in the teeth. It's so annoying.
That is basically the kick in the bollocks. That's the one that their anger stems from, and then it carries on throughout until the next game, until something changes dramatically. But yeah, for them, that's Bristol City away. They should be Bristol City at home. They should be winning. Palace, they want to put up a fight in the cup. They don't want to just roll over and it's all right. Like you said, play 40 games a season. That's not good for them. They don't want that at all. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they want the teams to have the passion. They want to be exciting, energetic, and dare I say it, a lot of people might tune off. But what Dyche and Everton are doing, okay, Dyche doesn't play prime Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Barcelona football, but he's got them fighting and playing for their club again. And okay, they've got off-field things that are happening that maybe give them a bit of extra motivation, but that's how they want their teams to perform. And West Ham have players like Paqueta, Bowen, Kudos. Palace have Elise, Eze. They have good players on the pitch, but with those managers, it sounds horrible, but because they've been around for such a long time, they're almost stuck in their ways, but they have a way of playing Hodgson and Moyes that has been quote unquote effective and essentially gets the job done. But yeah, I think they're just seen enough basically, and they want more. They want to turn up to West Ham at home. They want to go to Palace and enjoy watching their team, enjoy watching their players. So I do think it's
a big summer for both those clubs, and we shall see what happens.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the team of the week?
Yeah, I think so.
So we had a joint team of the week this week from week A and week B from the two things, and we decided to go with the goalkeeper, Emi Martinez from Aston Villa, clean sheet away at Everton. I remember him making a few good saves, and especially a double save between Calvert-Lewin and it might have been Decore at the time, but he played very well in that game, and he gets the nod in goal.
Yep, and then we've gone two at the back. I'll take your man this week.
Yeah.
Gabriel, he was almost awarded 2 goals.
I can't believe they haven't given him that second goal.
I can't believe, but yeah, I mean, surely just it's his goal. It must be. It must be his goal. But yeah, almost scored 2. Definitely scored 1. Clean sheet, 5-0 win. I didn't watch the game, but I assume he had very little to do and was comfortable. Yeah. But yeah, nearly got twice on the score sheet. But
top scoring defender since he signed in 2020 for Arsenal in the whole Premier League. Yeah.
Impressive.
And he scored the other week against Liverpool as well, didn't he? He
did a good header. Yeah, very good header.
He's very, very good in both boxes. Like, very good. And then, obviously, I'll take your man, Pedro Porro. Like we touched on him last week, played offensively very well. Defensively a bit shaky in the first half, but I don't think I've ever seen a player take 13 corners in one game and have them all on the money, pretty much. Got an assist for Richarlison's goal. And for a player that came in last season and looked a bit like Emerson Royale 2.0, he has certainly improved. He looks very stocky, looks very strong, and
very different player.
Very good, yeah.
I'll take the first midfielder. I think we're going to do the vote from the midfield this week. So yeah, that man, we spoke about him last week. 20-minute cameo, Kevin De Bruyne, slot straight in. Yeah,
how are you looking forward to seeing him on Friday night?
Yes, and I think Haaland will be back fit as well, so even sweeter when we win 3-0. And then they owe us one. They're going to have to score at least 5. They owe us one. They haven't scored at Tottenham Stadium, so no, it'd be good. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne slot straight in.
And our vote is between Diego Jota and Bentancur. Obviously, Jota's got a brace yesterday against Bournemouth, and Bentancur scored the equaliser at Old Trafford on last Sunday.
Yes.
So yeah, they're both. We put that vote on the story. So
Yeah.
after you listen to the pod, have a quick vote on it, and the team of the week will be announced later on in the week.
Nice. And then up front, Nunes. He scored twice yesterday.
Yeah.
2 goals for Darwin Nunes. 4-0 win at Bournemouth. Yeah, very good. Without the main man Salah at the minute to score 4 goals for Liverpool yesterday. Not obviously Nunes, but yeah, Liverpool to score 4 away is a good sign. But yeah, Nunes with 2, so he's up front this week.
10 goals, 10 assists, and all comps now for him. First player to do so in the Prem. Do you want to have a prediction? Do you want to have a look on old flash scores? So Saturday, looks like we're probably going to have FA Cup. It might be a couple of League 1, League 2 games. Or French League, Spanish League.
Saturday.
Chuck one out.
Or let's go with... We'll go... FA Cup? Let's have a La Liga. There's no real big games in La Liga. Sorry. We'll go FA Cup and we'll go Leeds at home to Plymouth.
Leeds, Plymouth. So 2 championship teams. I'm going to back Plymouth here. I'm going to go 0-1.
Ooh. Okay. I'll go home team Leeds. They're going to win 2-1.
2-1. No, I've
2-1
got to back Plymouth because we've got listener Tom Watkins he's from Plymouth originally,
Yes.
and then from London, and now lives in Texas, I believe it is, in America. So he listens every week. So you got to back Plymouth from that one time they ever get mentioned on the pod.
Yeah.
Got to mention Plymouth. So I know for 1-0 Plymouth win.
Very nice.
Right. We did a who am I, didn't we?
Yep, we
congratulations to those that messaged us, and it was Aaron McLean, guest of the show,
Yes.
fan of the show.
Yes. Former guest, now fan of the show. But yeah, Aaron McLean, who had his clubs up, and obviously a few of you got it. Well done. Again, we'll put one up in the next day or so. Get involved. Again, message us, comment below the picture, whatever it is. But yeah, I think it's been quite a good addition. People are enjoying it. So yeah, Aaron McLean from last week.
Winner and loser. Do you want to kick us off a winner?
Yeah. So my winner of the week, I've gone for Girona's Ukrainian striker Artem Dovbyk.
I've gone for Girona's Ukrainian striker Artem Dovbyk.
Quality. We can talk about it together. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but I'm going to go with Dovbyk. But yeah, I imagine it's very similar. Scored a 6-minute hat-trick yesterday on their way to beat Seville. 5-1 at home to keep them top by 1 point. They've played one more game than Real Madrid. He scored 14 so far this season, and his first hat-trick for the surprise package in La Liga this season. Yeah,
like you said, it took him 19 minutes in total. 13 minutes, 15 minutes, and 19 minutes. He got us 3 goals. Beat Seville 5-1. I think that's a pretty good.
That's good. That's pretty well, both
a pretty good winner of the week.
No, it's good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Girona.
We'll be seeing them.
Yeah, a bit of a rogue season. Hopefully, we'll be seeing him at the Bernabeu very soon. But yeah, 26-year-old Dovbyk has had a not a terrible career, but played in Ukraine, played here and there and everywhere. Played in Denmark for a bit. And scored a hat trick at the weekend. So yeah,
40 goals. He's 20 La Liga games. His debut season in the league is it's pretty decent.
Yeah, do you want to start us with loser of the week?
Loser of the week. I actually think this is my loser of the week 365 days ago. And my loser of the week this week is Sky Sports.
Nice.
Sky Sports promoting their Green Weekend every year to tackle climate change. However, also Sky Sports put Bournemouth versus Liverpool on at 4:30 on Sunday, when the last train back is at 5 minutes past. It takes nearly 8 hours. It's over £100. And oh wait, it's not a train; it's a bus. So it leads to everyone having to drive to the game, creating more CO2, more emissions. So it just doesn't equal your Green Weekend whatsoever.
Nice.
So that is my.
I thought, think about it now. I've seen that's popped up a few times. I thought you might whack it out. Loser of the week, I've gone for, don't know if you've seen it, but Ben Hamer, the Watford goalie, at the weekend. They were 1-0 up away at Bristol. Scott Twine scored the equaliser for Bristol obviously past Ben Hamer, but Ben Hamer was basically nowhere near it, and then decided to. He couldn't do much about the goal, but then decided to dive when the ball was in the net. Scott Twine had wheeled away and celebrated, but Ben Hamer had done a theatric dive to his last-ditch attempt to get there. It was just it looked very funny. And if you've not seen the Twitter video, I'm sure it's easy to find. Ben Hamer, Watford. So yeah, Hamer, Watford's goalie.
Yeah, there's a few memes going about that dive, like Superman dive.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Right, back to the teaser. Roy Hodgson is currently the oldest Premier League manager of all time, but can you name the other top 10?
David Moyes?
No.
Oh, God.
Which I thought was surprising.
He's 60 years old. Okay. Old. Who's old? Alex Ferguson must have been.
Alex Ferguson, number 3.
How old is Alex Ferguson? Have you got his age?
71 years and 131 days. Roy Hodgson's 76.
Yeah, he's really old. Is that like think about it, you? I mean, you might, but you probably won't work till 76. Whatever you're doing, if you're the postman or whatever you're doing, it's mental. But might be doing this podcast till then. But Alex Ferguson. Wenger.
Arsene Wenger, number 8, 68 years old.
Bloody hell. Who's old? Redknapp must be.
Redknapp was number 10.
He had they used to just wheel him out towards the end of QPR.
Yeah.
He just turned up on a Saturday. Avram Grant? Old?
No.
Not old enough?
No, not old enough. To be fair, 10 is quite a lot on this list. I'd be...
Old. Ranieri, he must have been.
Ranieri, yep. Number 5, 70 years old, 93 days. Which I'm thinking was his Fulham job.
Possibly, yeah.
It was the last one he was at, wasn't he?
Yeah, it would have been. So Hodgson's the oldest, obviously, like you said, day by day. Ferguson was there, 3.
Yeah, Ferguson number 3. Ranieri 5, Wenger 8, and Redknapp 10. Couple of newish ones in there. I'd say newish.
Like recent names.
Recent names, yeah.
Hoodink. Chris
Hiddink, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Number 6.
He's an old boy. Or was an old boy. He's an old boy, whatever. I'm trying to think 2. Trying to think who's in between.
2 was old manager, like
years gone by.
Early 2000s.
Hmm.
But there's still 2 mainstays in there, I would say, from...
Don't know.
One of them, you mentioned his name earlier. In the list of merry-go-round managers.
Allardyce,
yeah.
How old is he?
68.
Bloody hell.
That was at Leeds, just gone, yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah, he done it, yeah. I mean, his little bar, I remember, his little paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm stumped after that, I think.
So I'll give you the one you would... Dick Advocat.
Oh,
do you remember at Sunderland?
Yeah, I do remember him, but yeah, never saying that.
Do you want one more guess?
Give us maybe a subtle clue that's not too obvious, if you can. Dick was he the second one?
He was number 9.
Ah.
Both of these managers have got historic reigns at Championship clubs.
Oh, Warnock,
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And the last one, ex-Barcelona manager.
Koeman?
No.
Bobby
Robson.
Oh, Bobby Robson. Stupid boy.
But yeah, Rodgson.
That'd be a good manager.
Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson, Bobby Robson, Alex Ferguson, Neil Warnock, Claudio Ranieri, Gus Hiddink, Sam Allardyce, Arsene Wenger, Dick Advocat, and Harry Redknapp makes up your final 10.
Very nice. Bloody hell, dude. Because I think, Moyes is 60. I think even Postecoglou's 58. Yes.
And on that, do you know who the youngest ever manager is to take over a game of Premier League football?
Ryan Mason?
Yeah, that was going to be my teaser,
Yeah.
but I thought you'd get that.
Yeah, Ryan Mason. Yeah,
29.
I knew that. Yeah.
That was for the League Cup final, yeah.
It was, wasn't it? They were comparing Peps and
Yeah.
Mason, like, wow.
Yeah, major trophies won,
Yeah.
games managed won.
Yeah, what? Ridiculous. Yeah.
Right, I think that's... No, I enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, nice.
That
Bit
gives us-
different. Normally, we obviously speak about West Ham here and there, but yeah, good to talk about Palace, really.
Yeah, so next week we'll be back on Monday. We'll talk FA Cup and probably a bit of Premier League preview because there's midweek games next week.
Yeah, and tonight, what's the time? Is it? They kicked off yet, Brighton?
Brighton. Oh, yeah,
Let's have a
it's Brighton Wolves, and it's also have a look what the Ipswich score is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on the town.
So, 26 minutes in, Brighton 0-0 with Wolves at home. Championship, 12 minutes in, Leicester 0, Ipswich 0.
Oh, that's okay. Right, yeah, so we'll get back and watch the second half of them. But again, thank you all for listening. Hope the audio is back to normal. Like I think it has
Yeah, I
been
think
last
so.
few weeks. It's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's looking good.
And it's decent. And yeah, have you back all next week for another episode of Talking Loyal. So take care and stay loyal.
Stay loyal.